What do you think about this whole Jaylen Waddle getting 3 years, about almost $85 million with a $76 million guarantee, it looks like?
I mean, for him, it's great, right? Yeah, that's big time receiver money. The thing that's crazy with Jaylen Waddle is he's an elite talent. He's kind of shown that. He just, for me, there's like always a little bit of injury concerns. But like if I can have Jaylen Waddle on my fantasy team, especially if it's a dynasty team, like dynasty moving forward, Cheetah, Tyreek Hill, he's saying he's going to retire probably at the end of 2025. Jaylen Waddle he's an alpha, like he could be an alpha number one type receiver, especially if, the play and the offense is as explosive as it's been, and it continues to progress and stuff like that. Man, Tyreek Hill obviously will be your one, but Jaylen Waddle has all the skill sets to be that. And in Dynasty, he should be a coveted piece.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a rookie in 2021, before Tyreek Hill was there, he caught, as a rookie, 104 passes. He had 104 receptions for 1,015 yards and 6 touchdowns. So very, very good. I think that was a little bit more under the radar rookies. I forget exactly. There's some other stuff going on that year that I think he kind of got swept under the rug a little bit as far as what he was actually doing on the field.
Correct.
But
I think with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and the numbers that they were putting up, I think it just kind of gets overshadowed.
And then you've got the next year, 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. That was the first year with Tyreek. Last year, a little over 1,000 yards again and 4 touchdowns. So a little bit of a down year. I think he missed a couple games last year.
Missed some games. But like to even have those numbers and then you're playing alongside Tyreek Hill, it's insane. Those could, that's, I wouldn't say it's 100% wide receiver number one numbers. Like he wouldn't be my first round pick unless that's the best guy available. But I mean, in a redraft, I mean, he's great.
Yeah, in a redraft, if you decide you want to take a running back or two early and then all those top receivers are gone, this is a guy you can get, and you can get those wide receiver 1 weeks. And I think I heard another thing on a fantasy show I was listening to earlier today, actually, and they were talking about how if you're looking at any fantasy players in a 17-game stretch, like, hey, over the 17 games, this guy has to be my wide receiver 1, you're probably playing fantasy football incorrectly. You need to be looking at the season in chunks saying, okay, I've got Jaylen Waddle on my team, but I can't count on him for 17 games because you should not be counting on any player for 17 games in fantasy football. It just doesn't happen. These guys miss games, bye weeks, things like that. I mean, just fantasy is never-ending cycle of turning that roster over, whether it's waiver wire or trading or whatever it is. So I thought that was some good advice. But yeah, if you've got Jaylen Waddle on your team, especially like in Dynasty, I think there might be what do you think? Is there like a window right now where maybe you could go out there and maybe poach him a little bit? It would probably be buy low for the long term because you're still going to have to pay, I would imagine, a pretty good penny for him. But there is, whoever the manager is of Jaylen Waddle is going to have the Tyreek Hill in the back of their head. So you go to them with a trade, they're like, oh man, I like Jaylen Waddle. Ooh, but Tyreek Hill's there. Oh, this is a good offer. You know what I mean? Maybe you can get that deal done.
I agree. I think if there is a window, because you got to think when Tyreek Hill's out, his production's going to increase even more, and his production already is crazy. I mean, to have over 1,000, 3 consecutive seasons, it's a pretty good start. And then you've got to think that is going to be like kind of alpha QB, or I'm sorry, wide receiver 1 numbers once Tyreek Hill's not there. I mean, Tyreek Hill his target share is crazy. I mean, what he's bringing in points wise and yards wise is nuts. So be a lot of production that can be assumed for Jaylen Waddle. It's nuts. I think this is your window, but you're still paying. Like for me, I'm like, I need a first at least. I would say he could be that guy, especially if the value is only going to increase.
Yeah, he's only 25 years old. So if you kind of look at him as like a 3-year investment, depending on whether you have him, you want to hold him, or if you're trying to trade him or you want to go trade for him, whatever the case may be based on your roster and what kind of situation you're in, for me anyway, like I would look at his value throughout that contract, because when the contract's over, he's up for another one, he'll still be young. He'll be 28. So it's not like yeah, he'll have another probably big contract unless for some reason injuries come in, which you can never predict. Or career enders like that. So I wouldn't worry about it.